I got another video for you here, and I'm going to discuss time management. This was something that frequently comes up in coaching calls. This is something that comes up in the forum time and time again in regards to addressing this. So I'm going to do a video, or I'm going to explain some things that you should be really working to get towards in time management. Now, I do cover this in depth in session 8, I believe, of the program. And so some of you have already gone through it, and it's been beneficial to you in regards to productivity, efficiency, and opportunity costs, which contribute to managing your time efficiently. For those who haven't gotten that far yet and are hoping to come back into it and get into it at some point, I'm gonna give you some tips in regards to managing time. Now, our life is composed of a number of different things. We've got family life, we've got business life, some of us have careers on top of this entrepreneurial lifestyle that we're trying to achieve. We've got family life, we got hobbies, we got relationships we're starting out, we got marriage, we got parents, a number of things that you're all up against. And I'm going to give you some advice in regards to challenging yourself to all of that. And the reality is that no tool, no software, no journal, no assistant is really going to possibly motivate you to be able to handle all of it. The reality is it's going to come down to you, and it's going to come down to how you put yourself in a position to be able to handle all of these different tasks. Now, for myself, many people always say, how do you balance it all? How do you balance family life? How do you balance your hobbies, your friends? How do you balance, having multiple careers or multiple businesses that you run? On top of that, you've got your passions such as investing and some of the other things, real estate that I'm involved in. And I wasn't always like that. When I decided to go out and venture out on my own and leave the 9-to-5 job, or leave, in my situation, the family life business, I decided that if I'm going to want more in life, if I'm going to want to be able to live life to the fullest, and every opportunity that comes my way to try to capitalize or to embrace it or to be able to do it, the reality is you have to condition yourself to be prepared for it. Now, this doesn't happen overnight. This is the ability of you taking your mindset and shaping it in the way that you can handle more than the average person. Because we're, as entrepreneurs, as mavericks, we aren't ordinary people. We're searching for things that other people aren't, for the best lifestyle, for the to be happy and to have a balance and to have a great family life and have all these types of things that people are just trying to get through one of them. So if you want to be able to have the skill to be able to balance all of this and to embrace it all and to challenge yourself that time is not going to be my enemy, energy is. So if I can condition myself to have the most energy, then you can be able to tackle all of it. Now, this isn't going to happen overnight. Trust me, it won't. If you go back to my situation, when I was leaving the family business and sort of venturing out on my own, I was going to school and I was starting a business, and that was all that I could handle. And I wasn't looking for a relationship. I definitely wasn't ready for a family, and there was many things that I had to sacrifice so that I could focus at being really good at a couple things. And so I started to push the envelope in regards to my business and going to school. I thought school was very important for me to learn how to manage my time, because they teach you how to go from one situation to the next, to the next, to the next, when you're studying all these different classes and you're working towards your program goals and so forth. And so, I got the education and I applied myself there. And it was shortly after I started to realize, okay, I'm balancing this. I'm balancing, running a business, and I'm balancing this, just going to school. Two things, very simple. And I cut back on everything else. I cut back on, not getting in relationships. I cut back on, spending as much time with my friends. I cut back on, playing soccer, one of my passions of life. And I just said, this is a priority for me. I need to condition myself to be good at just these two things, because I know these two things, once I become good at them, I'm going to have more time for other things. And slowly, I just pushed myself and I pushed myself, and I said, I'm going to keep mastering this. I'm going to keep mastering this step by step by step, conditioning my body to be able to take those two things, those two simple things, and just get used to it and get used to the routine and get used to challenging myself to, study a little bit harder and get another job. And soon enough, after about, 6 months to a year, that was doing good. It was easy. I started to optimize in regards to everything that I was doing in those two fields. And so then I was ready for the next step. And shortly thereafter, a relationship kind of came to me. And so now I had to balance, someone else's feelings and someone else's life and making it all work. But I was conditioned for it, right? Because I was a master at handling the two. And then I basically added a third one. And then shortly after, I started to look at options on how I could possibly grow. And I looked into real estate. But you see, the point here is that when the time was right, when I felt comfortable that I had control of what I was doing, what I was pursuing, then I started to look for more. But I didn't go into everything. I just brought in something and I slowly worked at just managing that and becoming master at that and becoming good at that. And I'm not talking about the success behind it. I'm talking about feeling comfortable of the steps that I'm taking, feel comfortable about the approach that I'm taking, feel comfortable about the wealth of knowledge that I'm accumulating and the skills that I'm gathering. And sometimes that came faster than in some projects than in others. But I did it step by step. I mean, even if you followed me for the last three years, have been a part of the Maverick community or have seen me online and part of the community now, you've seen that I've never jumped into so many things. I came into the online business. I mastered the Kindle business. And then I went into the Create Space business at the right time, and I mastered that. And then I went into the Audible business, and I mastered that. And then I went into the physical business, and I mastered that. But along the way, I was able to manage all this because I mastered what I focused on. Too many people nowadays, they blame that they don't have enough time. They blame that they're not efficient. They blame that they need this and they need that to be able to achieve something. No, the problem is you're trying to achieve too much too fast. You need to scale back. You need to focus on the one thing that stands in front of you. And when you master that or become good enough that you can allocate some of the time that you spent there into something else. I mean, it's a simple concept. But the reality is, we see it all the time. If you follow KMM or you follow some of these other forums that are in, you're seeing people do this and doing that, and then about a month later they're doing this and they're doing that. How do you expect to get ahead? You got to be good at something to be able to for it to become easier. But you got to condition your body to accept all attributes of that challenge. In business, there are a lot of challenges. In life, family life, there's marriage, parenting, there are a lot of challenges, and some of them you'll never be an expert. Some of them you'll may never feel perfectly comfortable that you know everything about it. I hope not. That life would be pretty boring if that was the case. But you're going to get to a point where you understand what you got to do. Look at all you Mavericks now who published lots of books, have been through that stage. Is the publishing portion really that hard anymore? No, it's simple for you. You go through it easy now. You do your research, you order your book, you publish it, it's finished. Right? You do your marketing, and then the challenge of marketing came along, and all of a sudden, it threw you back. Well, of course not. You weren't ready for it. You're learning about it. But as the marketing is getting easier and easier because you're conditioning yourself what to expect, how to do it, how to go about it, how to respond to it. Every part, every dynamic of your life has to be that way. But if you try to do 10 things at once, too soon, you're never going to be in control of your time. You're never going to be able to manage your life the right way. So the key to time management, that I can break it down for the first skill set that you have to gain to have success in any business, is just focus on what's in front of you. Get better and better at it. And then condition your body to accept more into the environment that you have. And it'll be easier for you to accept that second thing when the first thing is already a part of you. And then work your way to a third project, a fourth project, and a fifth project. Because it doesn't matter what kind of entrepreneur that are out there that you see, that you marvel at, like the Zuckerbergs or the Warren Buffetts and the Bill Gates and all these great people that have been a part of so many things. Well, the reality is that they conditioned themselves. Once upon a time, they started with one thing. Zuckerberg with Facebook. Simple concept. Just Facebook. That's what he focused on. And everything else didn't matter. And then as he grew, he got into Instagram and he got into all these other types of things because he conditioned himself to be able to do those other things. Step by step by step. That's life. Step by step by step. So I know it's maybe not the video that you'd like to see where I say go get this software, go to Google Calendar to make a calendar. I mean, those are important steps, but those are just short-term fixes. They're still not going to challenge you for the ability to be able to do more. Because the reality is if you're going to be a business leader that's going to have many companies, and then of course be a good parent and a good husband or wife, and have hobbies to fulfill, part of you, have time to yourself, you're going to have to balance all these things, and you're going to have to condition your body to always have more than the average person. But that takes time, that takes experience, and that takes maturity. So the best advice I can give you is if you're publishing, publish. Get good at it. And when I mean good, not necessarily making the money, but good at it in the sense that you know how to handle it. You know how to handle all the parts of publishing from the ground up. And when you've done that, then go on to the next thing. Master the next thing, whether that's a relationship that's come in. Master it. You'll have more energy if you have control of that environment. Not control of the situation, but the environment. In the sense that you can embrace the moments, and the moments you'll be able to enjoy because you're ready for them. Whereas when you throw yourself into the fire of too many things, you can't do the best. It's impossible because your mind's not there. Your focus isn't there. But you can train yourself to have focus in many things, but you got to do it in steps. So hopefully that makes sense. It's the best way I can explain it in regards to myself. The steps that I've taken over the last almost 20 years of my life is that it didn't all happen in one day. I had to program myself and my body to be able to handle everything that's coming at me at the same time. And I did that by going into them at the right time when I felt ready for them, and I was ready for the challenge because I had control of the situation that was already in front of me. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helps. Post any questions in regards to it, and I'll try to elaborate any more. Maybe some more videos in the future. I can give you some quick